If you're having problems mixing your vocals, they're too high or too low for your beat, and they just don't blend well or sit on the beat like you want them to, then this is the perfect video for you. Good news is I'm about to reveal everything you need to know to get your vocals sitting on your beat and sounding like your favorite songs. But before we scream at the top of our lungs to reach a new level of power, I've got a question for you. That question is, what are 2 effects that you can use to help your vocals blend into your beat? Leave your answer in the comment section down below. If you don't know, don't worry, because I'll be revealing the answer later on in the video. Just stay tuned. So let's get into it. First of all, you need a basic mix of your vocals. So I'm gonna share an example of my vocal that we're going to be creating or editing to make it sit on our beat. And then I'm going to create a duplicate of that vocal, turn off all the effects, and then do a fresh mix of it. So you can basically get a basic mix of your vocal. And then I'm going to show you how to make it sound great and blend with the rest of your beat. So this is the example. This is a song I'm working on called Truth Hurts.
Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe.
Okay, so this is our duplicate. We won't need to look at our main track anymore, so let's just get this right up here. We're just going to be looking at the mixer. So let's turn off all these effects, well, except for auto-tune, because I don't want to embarrass myself. But let's turn off everything else. Basically just going to remove everything, and we're going to do a very, very basic mix. So this is what it sounds like right now.
Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed.
Okay, you get it. It's all over the gaff, yeah? It's going to be very hard to get that to sit in our beat if the dynamics are moving up and down and all that sort of stuff. We need to have it level and easy to deal with so that we can then make it level and blend with the rest of our beat. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some EQ. I usually use Neutron EQ just because I like it. So let's do that here. You can use any EQ. They all pretty much sound the same to me personally, but different EQs have different options. For example, Neutron EQ has a very good ease of use about it. Now, to do a basic mix, we need 3 main things: EQ, compression, and a de-esser. So we're going to go through those elements right now. First off is EQ. What we need to do with the EQ is to cut out the lows, cut out any muddiness around 300 to 400 hertz, and cut out any of those annoying frequencies around 2000 to 3000 hertz. So let's do that right now. We're gonna hit up here. We're gonna do a high pass flat. We want that slope to be a little bit deeper. And we're gonna bring this to about, can I get that? Yeah, let's make that like that. I'm gonna bring this to about, let's listen here. I usually will go to at least 200.
Never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we
If you go here, it's a little bit too much, but if you go here,
never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never
as you hear, it sounds kind of radio down there. That's not what we want.
shared a bed, never thought that it was
We want it to sound kind of similar to how it started off as,
love.
but without all that boominess, which is going to get in the way of our bass and the rest of our instruments, and it just doesn't sound good.
Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms.
So that's cool. We'll do 250. And then we want a dip around 400, 300. Let's see where we're getting muddiness.
Arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like...
You hear that boxiness? We don't want that. So we're going to get rid of that just a little bit. We're not going to go too far. We're going to do like -3.
like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed,
And then we're going to dip around 3K here.
never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe.
So we're going to do a little bit of a cut around there. It's about 1.2. And then we're gonna search a
Let's
little bit.
pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never.
Now, everyone's voice will be different, so you'll need to figure out these frequencies by yourself, but you know these ranges, okay? So around here, around 2,500 to about 3,500, generally you're going to want to take that out. Around 300 to around 600, generally you're going to want to take something out around there. So that's how you find the stuff. And now let's listen to this back.
Never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe.
And then let's do a before and after. So this is before.
Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us.
And this is after.
Ooh, let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine.
See how it sounds way cleaner. That's what we're going for. Next, you want to add a de-esser, and I'll use the de-esser. Well, I could use Waves de-esser, but I feel like I've had some problems with Wave de-esser. Was it de-breather that was really, really bad? Well, I've got the Waves de-esser now. I usually would use the Neutron de-esser, but let's try out the Waves de-esser and see what they're doing over here. So basically, with the de-esser, it's going to get rid of the S's and the plosives, so P sounds, stuff like that, T sounds even. It's gonna like just soften those out so that they're not so annoying on the airs. So let's just do male S and let's listen back with the de-esser.
Sure. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we
So let's hear it on and off. This is off.
never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh.
You hear how sharp those S's are. Now let's hear on.
Let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh.
It's just way less in your face, way less noticeable, way better. Now with the de-esser, you just want to fiddle with the settings, like move the threshold about until you hear something that you like. We can also press the S change so that we just hear the S's.
Where it was just us. Ooh.
But I'm not hearing that come through that cleanly on this. When I use the Neutron de-esser, is it Nectar? Yeah, when I use the Nectar de-esser, it does give me the ability to just hear the S's on that. Let me just bring that up real quick. Yeah, so you can just listen to those S's and just hear what you're taking out, which I really like that about that. But this one ain't really doing that. But we can also bring that frequency down a little bit. Let's try that and go to about 2.5 as it was on the Nectar one.
Ooh, let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never.
And then let's hear the difference.
Never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never.
I actually think it sounds better with the preset. So we're gonna go with that. And then we wanna use some compression to level out our dynamics. So I'm gonna use a CLA compressor. So CLA 76. We could also use RVox. I'll leave links to the plugins that I use in this video in the description down below if you want to grab them. But let's start with the CLA 76. So we'll go with the blue one. Honestly, I don't know what the difference is between the blue one or the black one. I just usually go with the blue one. Here we want to set the input to around -6 from where our audio actually hits. So
never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shed a bed.
So we're hitting at -14. So we want to bring this to -20 bare minimum, but we're gonna go a little bit. We're gonna do -24. We're gonna do -10 because that's usually a good place to start. So let's hear this.
Never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before.
And we can pull back or go forward to see if we're getting the sound we want. So remember, we're at 24. Let's pull back a little bit and see what we get.
Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shed a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make believe.
I actually like it at -28. So we won't make our attack too aggressive, but let's see what it sounds like at 1.
Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shed a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shed a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make believe.
Actually, it sounds pretty good with a very long attack, and then we'll have a very short release.
Never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shed a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make believe.
Okay, so that's pretty good. I do have a complete video on vocal compression, as well as I have a complete video on vocal EQing. Go and watch those videos to learn more about vocal EQing and vocal compression in depth. In this video, I'm going to try and cut right through it so that it's quick and to the point, and I don't spend ages teaching you how to do these things. Basically with this, I'm just seeing what I like the sound of, and we're going to keep going, but those videos will actually teach you how to get to that sound and what all these different knobs do and all that sort of stuff. So definitely go and check that out. Basically with the compressor, all we want to do is get our vocals to be level. Okay, so make sure that it's not going too high and it's not going too low. It's kind of staying the same consistent level throughout. So here's before the compressor, and I'm going to show you after. So this is before.
Let's play make believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shed a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh.
And then this is after, although I do think I need to add a little bit of gain to this.
Let's play make believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shed a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shed a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play maybe.
So that's very level throughout. And then the next thing is to set our vocal levels with the rest of our beat. But before we do that, if you want your vocals to be half mixed before you even start recording, you don't want to have to go through this whole long process. You want your vocals to sound Spotify ready before you even start. You can grab my Spotify ready vocal mixing secrets template, link down below, or go to jcarterae.com/vocal templates. These templates also come with a PDF that walks you through all the settings that I use for my vocals. So it doesn't matter what DAW you're using. If you're not using Studio One or FL Studio, which I do have templates for, then you can still get my template because it comes with that PDF and you can use that PDF with any DAW. Honestly, it's worth just to get the PDF. So get in the template as well. And if you want to get your music heard, you need to have it on streaming platforms. If you don't have your music on streaming platforms like Spotify, no one's going to listen to your stuff. And in order to get your music on streaming platforms, you need the license to use the beats that you're using. Great news is you can get 5 of my beats with licenses for absolutely free. Link in the description down below. Check out that description, a lot of great stuff in there. Now, let's set our vocals with the rest of the beat. Now, the basic leveling of our vocals we want to do is let's actually turn it off. We want our vocals to be around the same level as our clap. Now, this is easier for you to do if you have the stems of the beat. My beats do come with stems. If you get my professional license, you'll get stems on that. jcartray.com/beats for that. But even if you don't have stems, because in this track we haven't actually got stems on it because we're not mixing it with stems yet. I usually record to the beat as a WAV, and then I'll bring in the stems when I get to actual mixing stage. So this is what we'll do. We'll just listen to the clap and try and get our vocals as close to that as possible.
Believe, let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make-believe.
Luckily, it's already there basically, so we don't really have to do much. But with stems, you can solo the clap out, hear it by itself to make sure that everything is mixing very, very similar and it's blended in very, very well. Next, I would get into some advanced mixing. I would add another EQ to take away some more frequencies that we got from the compressor, or add in some more frequencies, or perhaps add a gate and then add some more compression and then add some more EQ, and then maybe add some saturation, some more EQ, maybe add some high end in that EQ, just get everything crispy and sounding better. But we're not going to get super deep into that today. That's more relevant to a full vocal mixing video, which I will be making soon. So stay tuned for that, turn on notifications, all that sort of great stuff. For this video, there are two effects that we can add that will help your vocals blend into your beat and sit on your beat. Let's get into those now. Now, both of these effects should be used on a send track and not be inserted directly onto your main vocal track. The first effect is a delay. So I would add a quarter delay. This is what it sounds like.
Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine.
And it's mixed very, very low, yeah?
Saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make-believe.
And it basically just kind of sits in the background and just brings things together, like glues it together a bit. And then we'll add our 8th delay as well, which is more prominent. You can hear it a bit more. Where's that? See, it's mixed over here. And yeah.
Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we...
And it's sounding pretty loud now because usually these vocals would just be louder because of all the other effects that I'd have. So in relation, that would sound lower, which you would not want it to be this loud, okay? But even on those delays, you would add a chorus. I add a chorus and a reverb and then an EQ just to make it blend in the background even more. But I'll get into more depth on this when I make my video on how to use delays on your vocals. The next effect we want to add is reverb. I like to add a plate reverb and a long haul reverb. And this is what those sound like.
We never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love.
Again, this is sounding way too loud because of our mix. So you know what I'm going to do? Let's turn off these reverbs and let's bring the delays down to more of where I'd want it to be. So we'd want to hear the delay and then we bring that down.
Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Chest in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends.
You see how it's just a little bit. It's just a little sprinkle. That's what we want, okay? And with the plate reverb, same thing. We don't want it to be drowning you out like this. Oh, too much drowning. We're gonna bring that down.
Had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never.
And the whole reverb again.
Saw a future where it was just us. Ooh.
Bring that down.
Let's play make-believe. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh, let's play Maybelline.
And it just brings everything together. Like it, you can hardly hear it. You hardly even know that the reverb's there. But without it, you can tell because it sticks out. The vocals stick out more away from the beat without it because it doesn't have enough of that background sound that stops you from hearing those pauses and has a consistent sound throughout the vocal take, which just makes it sound more like it's ever present, like it's there, like I'm actually in the beat instead of I'm somewhere else and I've just slapped this on top of the beat and, you know, it's like water and oil. You want that to mix in like you're making milkshake and you're flinging the milkshake in there. You got the milk dust or whatever you call it. You're mixing it up. That's what you want. And that's what we get when we have that delay and that reverb. So definitely do that. And with the reverb, we just have the reverb and then I would add a EQ after it. So for example, for the plate reverb, if you do not add an EQ after it, your reverb can end up with your mix getting really muddy. The EQing is very important. As you can see, we've taken out the low end and we've taken out some of the high end. So we just got mainly midsection here. And with your pre-delay, you want to do 60,000 divided by your BPM. Honestly, I haven't done that yet here because this isn't a properly mixed song. And honestly, I haven't been doing that for my songs. But if you want your pre-delay to be done properly, that's what you need to do. And if your reverb is louder, then this is definitely something that you need to do. Because my reverb is so low and so subtle and in the background, it's not extremely necessary because the reverb isn't getting in the way of any of my vocal takes. If you do find that your reverb is getting in the way of your vocals, definitely use that multiplication or division, 60,000 divided by whatever your BPM is, and then that should be your pre-delay, okay? And then you may want to turn down your decay and turn down your size in order to make sure that it's not getting in the way. But I'll go into more depth when I make a video on vocal reverbs. Now, this is the perfect starting point for mixing the rest of your song. Let's quickly show you a before and after of no effects and then effects, okay? So this is no effects, no sends, and then we'll show you the effects so you can see the big difference.
Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never.
And then with effects.
Thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play Maybelline. Let's pretend we're friends like we never had sex before. Never had your head on my chest, in my arms like a vaccine shot. Never shared a bed, never thought that it was love. Never saw a future where it was just us. Ooh. Let's play Maybelline. Let's pretend.
And that's that. Very, very nice. Now, earlier on, I asked you a question and I'm a man of my word. So let me give you the answer to that question like I told you I would right now. The question was, what are the 2 effects you can use to help your vocals blend into your beat? And if you've been watching, you know what those are. If you want to be a high achiever, leave a comment down below before I reveal the answer and let everyone know how smart you are. Okay, good. Now, the answer is of course delay and reverb, and I showed you exactly how to use that, so we're not going to get too deep into that right now, but let's do a quick recap of the elements we've covered in the video. First of all, to get your vocals to sit in the beat, you need a basic mix with EQ, a de-esser, and some compression. Second of all, you need to match your vocal volume around your snare or your clap. Third of all, add reverb and delay. That'll blend it all nice together. Perfect. Bob's your uncle. If you got any questions or any tutorials you want me to make, let me know in the comment section down below. Check out that video next, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.